What is your favorite thing about performing live? Because you are known for your live show. You're known to be just someone you have to see live.
I love performing live, and I love putting my wardrobe on. I love putting my little costume on and putting Raquel on my wig, because I feel like I'm putting on a superhero costume. That's what it feels like. And then you go out there and I just lose myself, and I'm free. Like, I promise you, like, I'm free for like an hour and a half, just free to be powerful and free to be seen and free to be heard. And I wish everyone could experience it. It's incredible.
Awesome. So, going back to when you first started breaking out in Alabama Shakes, did you feel welcomed right away in the music industry being a woman, or did you ever feel a little bit like it was still an anomaly or like you were treated differently?
The Alabama Shakes, the case of us coming out was very particular and very special, just because we're very, very fortunate to have good people on our team immediately. And that's because we spoke to a lot of people when people were first interested in us, spoke to a lot of management, a lot of booking agencies. And we weren't expecting it, but between all of us, we always had good communication between all of us. And one thing that was really important to us is working with people where we could detect that they had good character. And I would say, getting into this industry, you definitely want to have people on your team that care about you as a person, but also your art form, because it's a wild industry. And so I feel like we started off surrounded by really, really good people. And I didn't read into too much when we first got started, because, of course, there's lots of people who didn't like us just because we looked like an overnight success. And like I said, I've been doing this since I was 11 years old. So I don't really blame people for being like, where'd they come from? So there was that. As far as being a woman goes, I really kept my eyes on the prize. I didn't look to the side. I didn't see what everybody else was doing. I was just like, this is my one chance. And no matter what happens, I'm going to stay true to myself. I'm going to do my music. I'm going to do what I like. I'm going to look like how I look like. No one's going to change me or take this opportunity from me. Um, so when I came through, I feel like I really had to call upon all of my energy and all of my strengths, um, to not get sideswiped or taken advantage of.
That's a really good point. I think that it's hard for a lot of people in the industry, women and even men, where you get in there and someone wants to mold you into what they think is going to sell at the moment. And that's a huge problem, I think, that people sometimes give into.
I agree. And who wants to be a moment? Some people want to be a moment. Some people just want the bag. Some people just want money and fame, and they're good for the rest of their life. But I had always had the intention and the mind and the plan to be around for a really long time. And that has everything to do with just loving what I do, loving music and loving expressing myself in this way.
Would you say that there's any one underlying theme on What Now, or is it all over the place?
I feel like some things are kind of living in a world where so much craziness is happening so fast, and you still have to live with yourself and live with your emotions about it and live in your own body. I can't go out there solving all world problems, even though that's what you really feel called to do, because you see so much injustice and so much suffering and so much pain. And as any kind of empathetic person, you know, it's overwhelming, like, emotionally. And so I feel like this album was me navigating my personal life and also being like highly aware that the world does kind of feel like it's on fire sometimes. And that's kind of the string that stretches across it.
So one of my favorite tracks off the new record is Red Flags, which I think is something that everyone can relate to, seeing red flags, maybe ignoring them when they shouldn't. But tell me about that track and kind of the inspiration behind it.
We're all trying to like grow up in this world. And for me, my experiences with partnerships always had a through line, which is just like me making myself smaller and unseen. And it's like, why would I do something like that? Because I'm on stage and I'm like this person that people see as like larger than life, and like all that stuff. I'm on a stage and people like look up to me. But it's like, listen, no one is exempt from the rules of life and from the lessons of life. And so my kind of thing that I was doing was staying in this pattern of villainizing my partners and giving my power away. And so when it comes to red flags, it's like, this is me singing to myself about all the times I chose to remain unconscious to those patterns and those cycles I was repeating. That's kind of what it's about.
Do you notice a difference in women now versus when you started out? Do you notice more women when you're on tour and that sort of thing? Like, do you think more women are getting into the industry?
Yes, absolutely. And that has everything to do with the actions people actually took. Because lots of people can talk and do lip service, but in this industry, when I first started, I would always get so excited to see a woman on the crew, or a woman doing monitors, or a woman doing lights, or a woman in any of these roles. Because when I was coming up, obviously I did not see that. When I was growing up, I didn't even see a woman playing guitar. So to see women in these roles in the industry, I would get so excited. And now I would say my crew's 50-50, which I love. I think we have around like 23, maybe 22 people on the crew, half of them are women. I love seeing that. I love seeing women of color in these roles. I love seeing them being paid fairly. I love seeing women in positions of power, label executives and such like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've definitely seen the change. And also, I get on Instagram right now, I see so many young women absolutely shredding on guitar. Way better than me, shredding. It's kind of surreal a little bit. It's like incredible because when I was growing up, I didn't have the access to YouTube to learn how to play this instrument. It was just Guitar World magazine, looking in the back, trying to figure out tabs. So it's been so cool to see how things have changed and how things will continue to change because of that. I love action-oriented folks, and I love that people are hiring women to do these roles and seeing what a good job they do.
That's really inspiring to hear. And you mentioned that growing up, you didn't really see a lot of women playing guitar. Do you ever have girls come up to you and say, wow, I saw you on guitar up there and it made me want to pick up a guitar? And do you ever hear that sort of thing?
Yeah, I do. I hear it a lot. I think it's awesome. I love seeing little girls. Like I love seeing little brown girls with glasses on and kinky hair, and they're dressed up like me. They're saying, "I'm learning how to play guitar just like you." Like it absolutely is heartwarming and inspiring.
So, what advice do you have for upcoming musicians, especially women, but just anyone who really wants to get into music and live out their passion?
I mean, nowadays you can make something on your phone and it can become a hit. Anything can happen because everybody's on the internet and everybody's always looking. And what people like, I think, has less to do with these algorithms that people are chasing and more to do with the vibe of it, the energy of it, the spirit of it. Who's the person behind the music? How true are they being about what they're talking about? I feel like people still resonate with that, like with what's real. So like my only advice would be like, be yourself and talk about what you're feeling. Don't try to make it. Create because you love it and because you need to and because it means something to you. And just be real with it. Be honest with it. There's nobody like you. You're an individual. And that's just like the greatest advice I give anyone.